Alright, welcome back, guys. We got a 1999 GMC Jimmy problem here. We're going to talk about this a second. The problem here is, as you can see, my lights, my brake lights are on all the time. The reason you only see the one is because this was being worked on by the owner. And as you can see here, we got bulbs. And underneath here, as you can see, the brake light switch was replaced. Maybe you can see it. They put a new one in because they thought the switch was bad. So, as you can see, like I said, that's been changed already. They've been playing around here. He said that he was touching some stuff under the hood and he saw the lights flicker. The thing with these is, I remember I had been through this once or twice before with these trucks, and the wiring shorts on these. I know that. Usually it blows the fuse from what I remember, but it's been a while. I could be wrong. But I want to show you something. I'm going to focus you in the back on the lights. See how I can do this. I may be dead wrong here too, of course, but let's see. That's not wrong. Alright, so I guess you saw the lights flicker. I'm going to show you. Back here, I remember I was moving this harness here, which is a real mother to get to. But we're going to investigate here a little bit. I'm going to shut the camera off. This is take me a little while to get to this thing, but I'll turn the camera back on once we get to it. So I should have kept the camera rolling. This is pretty cool. I didn't know how long it was going to take to get in here and investigate, but as I started to, I want to show you, as I started to unbolt the unit here, the ABS unit, I didn't take the lines and stuff off. I'm trying to get in here to see what's going on, so I don't want to start taking everything apart if I don't have to. As I started unbolting this, I got to this bolt. There's a bolt down here. I started taking out, and the vehicle started cranking. So I immediately started to jiggle this thing and it stopped, but it's pretty cool. This thing he's kind of lucky. This truck is just the brake lights that are stuck on is the complaint, but I'm going to show you where we're at here and why it's happening. If you look right down here, if I can get the light to cooperate, there we go. Look at that. Look at that mess. There's your problem. Everything's melted. This was rubbing on the bottom of the bracket. So, as I said, I've seen this before. It's been a while, but I remember something with these trucks where where that was an area where the harness would get damaged. So just keep that in mind. We're going to get in here and repair this. And I don't know if you guys really care about watching a wiring repair here, so I'm not going to bother filming it. But I'll show you the after results, I guess, that everything is working properly. And of course, we got to reinstall all the bulbs they took out and connect all the connectors they disconnected and put all the panels back that they took off. But yeah, so that's where we're at. So we'll see where we go. Well, there's a better view for you guys. We got the harness opened up, and this is ugly. This is very ugly. Very, very ugly. Yep. So, tight spot to get into too, but we're going to repair this, and I'm not going to film it. It's going to be a little much to try to film this. You get the gist. I'll get to work. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Alright guys, I got this thing repaired. I got to finish it obviously, but I have the wiring fixed as far as the what do you call shorts, you know, short the power and all that stuff. But this was going to be the end of the video, but what happened here was I had the battery disconnected after I was last on. Obviously I disconnected the battery to do the repair.
I connected the battery back up just to test before I put everything back. I always do that, make sure everything works properly. And it was funny because by the time I connected the battery and walked over here, the lights came on. And I was like, wow, I was like, what the hell? Did I leave the key on? And I went inside and the key was out of the vehicle, and I was like, oh. But what I noticed was the check engine light was also lit up on the dashboard, as well as another lamp that has a piece of black tape over it. So at that point I says, well, something more is going on here. Did I miss a wire that's damaged or something? I didn't think I did. I went over it. I didn't miss anything, which is good, but bad because there was something else going on with the truck, obviously. So at that point I got a diagram, power distribution, and I realized that the circuit that was being powered up was my 20 amp fuse here, which is ignition C. Okay, when it shouldn't be. It should only be in run or whatever. So it was not supposed to have power. So at that point, before I started messing around too much, I went right to the ignition switch. I noticed that if you look here, somebody was in here. They have this taped together, the panel. They probably broke it. They didn't know there's screws underneath that hold these. And I know this looks familiar from my Halloween video. What I found, which I had repaired already here, but I wanted to show you guys on video anyway. What I found is that this pink wire was jumped to this red wire, okay, and jumped to another wire back here someplace, and I removed that. And then the camera died. Well, whatever. What I was actually saying in the video before the camera died, before I realized it died, was that I repaired the harness at the ignition switch on this thing, and what I believe happened here was some of the wiring to the fuse block had been broke. They were complaining that some other stuff in the vehicle didn't work electrically, you know, and obviously we had broken wires down there that were going to that fuse block. So what I think happened at some point, something didn't work. They went to the ignition switch and they jumped things out, and what they were telling me as well with this vehicle is that the truck would die if it sat. The battery would go dead. So this has been an ongoing thing since they played around with the last repair that they did. So it's pretty obvious what the last repair was, right? Once we got the ignition switch wired back up to stock specs, everything seemed to work fine. We have brake lights. You know, our headlights are no longer on with the key out, and the dash isn't lit up and all that. So we did check the vehicle for a parasitic draw. We reinstalled the radio, which they had taken out because they said that was the reason the battery was going dead. It was not. The radio is not shorted. So again, it's misdiagnosis with you know, inexperience or whatever you want to call it. You know, these guys are not mechanics. They're laymen that are just trying to fix their own vehicle, and you know, okay, fine. I can't give them a lot of credit because they didn't fix anything. They caused me a lot of extra time on the vehicle because I had to fix the things that they went in and tried to tamper with, or they did tamper with. So what is the point of the video? Well, I thought it was a pretty cool thing to see the damage in that harness. If they would have brought it to me in the first place, I would have fixed it without replacing switches and, you know, pulling all the bulbs out and all the panels and all the other crap and jumping ignition switches or whatever. But they would have spent money that way. So this way, they spent money and time. And then they came to me and they spent more money and time. So yeah, it's I guess it's a win-win. I don't know. The point of the video, honestly, guys, is for you guys out there that are do-it-yourselfers, I give you all the credit in the world for, you know, for doing this stuff. But if you're gonna do it, my advice to you is to get educated on what you're doing before you do it. Learn how to read wiring diagrams. Have access to wiring diagrams, which these people don't. They don't know how to read them. I know these guys, so it's, you know, you need information, and you need to know how to read that information and understand it in order to understand the system before you can fix the system. Okay, if you don't understand how it works, you're not going to fix it. You're going to jump stuff and you're going to cause more damage. they're honestly lucky the way they jumped everything out that it didn't go on fire. There was no fuse to the circuit. They jumped from the to the ignition switch. They just put power to whatever, and you can't do that. I mean, it's really negligent. You know what I mean? You could be going down the road with this thing, and there's no fuse. The wiring obviously shorts or whatever. It goes on fire. It could be bad. It could be really bad. So I mean, people laugh when they see stuff like this. I know that. Like, I look at videos online and I'm just like shake my head. But you look at stuff like this, and it's easy to laugh at it. But that's cool, I guess, or whatever. But it's funny in a way. But it's not funny if this guy gets like burned to death in his car. You know what I mean? It's not cool. There's just so much. It's dangerous. You know what I mean? My thing is that the public doesn't want to spend money to pay auto repair techs to do their job. That's a big thing. I get it all. I get it all the time. I'm sure it's not just my area with that stuff. I'm sure you get phone calls and people want information for free. They want to know how to fix this. They want to know what to do with that. And they want you to check their car for nothing. They want you to fix it for next to nothing. The reason that this stuff is expensive, to fix is because it's time consuming. And I found this. I mean, on the video, the truth of it is, on this video, I didn't diagnose this before turning the camera on. I actually diagnosed it with you guys when I put that camera up on the back to show you the lights flickering. That's as far as I got before I turned the camera on. You know what I mean? I just verified that I moved the harness and it would flicker the lights, and I know that area. I know that is a problem area for these vehicles. So it wouldn't have cost them as much, obviously, if you would have came to me in the first place. The repair kind of sucks on this a little bit because it's a little tight to get in there, but once you get stuff out of the way, get the ABS unit moved aside and the fuse block and stuff, it's not that bad, but it's a little tight, But again, I wouldn't have had to rewire the ignition switch if they wouldn't have touched it, you know what I mean? But they're trying to patch things, and you just can't do that. I mean, this thing's a 99, you know what I mean? What if it was a 2009 or a 2018 or something? You can't be playing with cars like that, man. These late model cars, they're just jumping stuff out for trying to get things to work. My thing is that the public needs to be educated on why it's not a good idea for them to do things themselves. Why there are professionals out here that get paid to do this, and it's the same as in any other field. And I probably said this before, but if your roof is leaking, are you gonna go up there and just I don't know, throw some like bubble gum on it or something? I mean, it's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? If you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna cause more damage than good. That's a fact. I mean, when I was younger, I didn't know electrical work. When I was a kid, I always played around with cars, and I just always tried to fix stuff since I was a kid. But I didn't know electrical. I had nobody to train me when I was younger, and I remember when I first started driving, and if I had a problem in the car with electrical, I would try to figure it out, but even at that point, I was 17 or whatever. At that point, I still knew to get a diagram, and not that I could read it very well or understand it, but I kind of got the idea or whatever. But as soon as I saw that I was in over my head with it, I didn't start jumping things out. I would have to go to somebody and have them look at it, and that was it. I didn't start tampering with things and cutting things out of the car and doing all that craziness, because all you're doing is eventually that car is either going to end up in one or two places. It's going to end up in the junkyard, or it's going to end up at a repair shop. And if it ends up at a repair shop, it's going to cost you more money after you screwed something up. It's going to. Whether you damage a hard part or whether you do something to wiring that shouldn't be done, it's still going to take the guy time to repair that. So my best advice is, if you don't know, don't attempt it. It's better to err on the side of caution than it is to cause a problem, especially with, like in this situation, this is like a family vehicle. You got kids in the car, you got it's just bad, man. It's just bad. Don't do it. Don't do it. There's nothing wrong with trying to learn new stuff or whatever. You want to figure things out, that's fine, but get some information, get some ideas of be familiar with the system before you start just cutting into random wiring on the truck and jumping things out, man. It just drives me crazy. he lucked out, like I said, because it didn't. This thing could have gone on fire without a doubt. I just recently had a guy call me for a Mercedes that he jumped some stuff out of on the headlight, and he was going down the highway, and the wiring caught on fire. And by the time the fire truck got there, they had to cut the hood open to make sure the fire was extinguished, and they literally destroyed the front of this car. But he asked me how much to fix it. I told him I'm not interested. But I want nothing to do with jobs like that, especially after somebody tampered with it. It's just it's ridiculous. The car. If you saw the shape of the car, you'd understand why I don't want anything to do with it. But if you don't know, don't do it. Don't tamper with it. We need to educate the public, guys. We really do. And I try to tell my customers, it would have saved you money to come to me first. You would have saved a lot of money. But they don't get it. So in short here, everything does work. The repair obviously was successful. I insulated the harness after the last part of the video. Obviously, I insulated the harness and put everything back, and then checked for parasitic draw, which I have none. Made sure the alternator is good. Made sure the battery's fully charged, and the vehicle's ready to go pretty much. I just have to. I actually have to put one bulb in. I think tomorrow. One bulb is bad in the back that he had taken out, so he had a faulty bulb too. But it's all silly stuff. But that's that, Thanks, guys, for the support too. We just got over. I don't know if I said this or not. We just got over 1,000 subscribers, and I'm stoked. I'm happy. I can't believe I actually finally got here. So I keep hoping to push forward, obviously, but trying to give you guys decent content here. These kind of jobs I see a lot. This is unfortunate, honestly, because I don't want these kind of jobs. I'd prefer stuff that comes to me broke, so not tampered with. We fix it, everybody's happy. These kind of jobs make me a little upset because I don't like having to charge the customer. I feel it's unnecessary money they're spending, and it may sound stupid, maybe coming from my, from a business standpoint, I guess, but I don't like having to charge extra money. Like, I would prefer that I didn't have to do the extra work on a vehicle that they caused, if that makes any sense. So if you have friends out there that are, telling you, yeah, my car's got a short, or my car's this or that, or I'm going to jump something out, be a friend, man. Tell them not to do it. Tell them bring it to somebody who knows what they're doing, and get the car fixed the right way before they cause bigger problems and cost themselves more money. And potentially cost themselves the car. So, with that said, I'm gonna go eat and go to bed. I'm tired, guys. Thanks for everything. See you soon.